Hey guys, and welcome back to the Wally modeling series. And in this part we're going to go ahead and model this piece in. We're also going to go ahead and make this indentation in here, and then later on we're going to go ahead and split this part into two pieces, because as you can tell right there it's made out of two pieces. So we're going to go ahead and split it here to make it into two pieces, and then his eyebrow should be done. So let's go ahead and open up the file where we left off, and it was right here. So we made these eyes and we got the block of the body still, so I'm just gonna turn that off. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and group these pieces together. So shift click all of them, hit Control G, and just name this eye. Now also going to go ahead and go to modify and center pivot. And now for that group, we got the pivot in the center. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate this. So Control D, and then use my scale tool and type in -1 in the X direction, and that will flip it over. And then we're going to go ahead and delete that one, just so we can work on the right side. So that will be sitting in there. So the first thing we're going to do is make the indentation. So let's go into our side view and unsmooth it. And then we're going to go ahead and select the faces that we need. But before that, we're going to have to make some adjustments for these edges. So if I just go into my X-ray mode and select this edge, and I'm just going to move it around here and go to Edit Mesh, Insert Edge Loop Tool, and we're going to add an edge in here as well, like so. Now we can go ahead and start selecting the edges that we need. So I'm going to pick these ones, and probably that one as well, and that one, like so. And now we can start extruding and so on to make our indentation. So if you come into Edit Mesh, and we're going to use the extrude tool, and at the same time as we're doing it, we're going to with the extrude tool add in the supporting edges, so we don't have to do that later. This way it's a lot easier. So I'm just going to hit extrude first, and then go into offset and just give it a tiny little bit of an offset, so this will hold that edge. Then we're going to hit extrude again, and in thickness we're going to pull it down a tiny bit, so that will give us that edge loop. Okay, and then I'm going to hit extrude again, go down in thickness roughly the size that I need, like so. Then we're going to hit extrude again and go down in the thickness just a tiny bit, so that will give us that edge loop. Okay, then we're going to hit extrude again and set the offset down a tiny bit, so that will give us that edge loop. Okay, so we created all the supporting edges that we need at the same time as we extruded it. So now that we got our indentation and hit smooth, as you can tell, it smooths it really nicely. Now we might make this corner so it's not rounded but flat, and I think that's what we're gonna do. So if you basically, what we need for that to do is we're gonna need an edge loop in here and here, so that corner will hold its shape, and we're gonna need an edge going down here and here, so that will hold its shape as well. So we're gonna do that with the interactive split tool, and I'm just gonna click around here and drag all the way down here, and then right click and do the same thing here. And again, if your interactive split tool seems to be too sticky, then come into the interactive split tool icon and just turn it down, the magnet tolerance to 1. And same for when we were extruding, make sure that this slider is, if you click on this twice and then click this all the way around so it's on tiny, that means that you'll have more control over, so you can extrude it just a tiny bit and not a lot, so it ain't gonna jump as much, okay? In case you've forgotten how to do that. And then we're gonna go into our insert interactive split tool again, and I'm just gonna click from here all the way down here, and same here, like so. And now if we smooth that, they should hold that corner, as you can tell, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to extract this face so we can create our actual eyebrow. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and select, actually we might have to split this face here, because now this is, if you select this object and then go to mesh, clean up, and select matching polygons, faces with more than 4 sides, and hit apply. As you can tell, it's selected those faces now because these have more than 4 faces because of these edges that we added in there. So now we're going to go ahead and fix those quickly. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn these 5-sided faces to, well, we're going to turn a couple of them to triangles and a couple of them to quads. Having a couple of triangles don't really make too much difference, but try to avoid them as much as we can. But triangle is better than a quad. In a 5-sided face, so we're going to cut some of them into triangles. So right here, I'm just going to slice in here with the interactive split tool, and we're also going to make a cut from here to here, and we're also going to make a cut from here to here. And as you can tell, we've got a triangle there and a triangle there, but this bit is a quad now, so it's okay. We're going to go ahead and just make a cut from here to here, and that will anchor that point off. And we're also going to make a cut from here to here. And now for this bit, we're going to do the same with this, anchor it off there at the end, like so. And we're also going to do the same thing with this one and anchor it off all the way down on that where. And now if we go to object mode, go to mesh, clean up, and select that and hit apply. We got a face in here and a face there, and that's because this slice that we've done was at the wrong place. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this edge and that edge and hit delete edge. And now I'm just going to go back to the interactive split tool and just make sure that it's on the right place where we're cutting it, like so. And now hit that again, and as you can tell, it didn't select anything, so everything is either quads or triangles, so that's pretty good. And now I'm just going to hit 3 to smooth it, make sure there is no pinching where the triangles are, and so on, and everything is looking pretty good. So now that we have that, just gonna go ahead and select the faces that I need for the eyebrow. So we're gonna go ahead and select these faces in on smooth mode, and then we're just gonna go ahead and go to edit mesh, duplicate face, and hit that button. And as you can tell, and hit in the outliner down here, we got a poly surface 2. And if I just go to modify center pivot and move it up, as you can tell, we got a plane right there. So the next thing we're going to do is, obviously you're going to have to go ahead and extrude this exactly the same way how we extruded this, so you're going to keep its shape and don't have to go ahead and add the edge loops later on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit extrude, and then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a tiny bit of an offset, like so. So I'll give it a 0.2 offset minus 0.2, just so I know. Minus 0.2 offset. Ooh, that might be too much. Minus 0.1. That's still too much, so we'll go minus 0.05. That's still a bit. So we'll go with 3, 2. Yeah, we'll go with 2. So minus 0.2. And then I'm just gonna hit extrude again. Let mesh, extrude. And we're gonna go ahead and scale this. Go with the thickness and with a tiny bit. So probably minus or what did we do? 0.02. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we're going to go ahead and hit extrude again. And now we're going to pull out the actual thickness of it, which will probably be something like this. We can always change it a bit later. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and hit extrude again and go down to thickness and give it a tiny bit of a thickness, so we'll keep its shape. And then we're going to hit extrude one more time and give it a tiny bit of an offset, minus 0.02. And let me just have a look how that's looking. There we go, 0.01. This should do it. And then now if I come out and smooth it, should look quite nice. And obviously we're going to have to add the edge loops into here as well, so it will keep this corner. So I'm going to go ahead and go to edit mesh, interactive split tool, like so. You're going to go ahead and this looks a bit off to me, and I wonder why. I think we might have scaled this in a little bit. Let me just have a look. Now side view. Side view looks good. Front view. That looks good too. I don't know, it might just be my eye. Oh well, it should be okay. So we're just going to go ahead and make a cut from there to here. And it won't let me. Let me just move this again. Okay. We might use the insert edge loop tool, might as well. So I'm going to add one in here. This edge doesn't seem to be where it's supposed to be, so we might have to have a look at that in a minute. So let me just move that, and that's looking a little bit better now. We still got to add an edge loop going in this direction, so I might just make a cut here. Go edit mesh, interactive split, and cut from here to all the way down to the bottom. If it will let me, interactive split tool, and I'm just going to turn the magnet down, so I should have more control over what it's doing, hopefully. There we go. And we're going to also make a cut right here. Do it. Yeah, you sometimes do get some funny things with the interactive split tool, but oh well. At the end it will do the job, hopefully. I'm just going to cut it there for now. And then I'll make another cut because it didn't like. And then I'm just going to go ahead and move this vertex Okay, select that and just move it like so, and now if you smooth it, it should keep its shape beautifully. And now we can go ahead and try to squeeze this in where it's supposed to sit, and it should fit roughly okay. We might have to scale this, as you can tell, so we're just going to go ahead, scale it a tad, and then we're going to go ahead and move the words so it sits in there how it should be. Okay, so we're going to go into our front view, turn X-ray on, and then we're going to go ahead and right click vertex only on this. So if I just deselect, select my shape and hit vertex mode, and then go into our front view. Now we can go ahead and select some points and just make sure that it sits in there and it's roughly the right shape. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going around, move it in, move it back out where I can see the edge of the indentation that we made, which is right there. And now I'm just going to go around and do the same for all of these. Just make sure it sits at the right place, like so, and then I can move it down a bit more later on down the line, and also here. So making sure it's sitting in there like so, and then I'm going to come out, have a look what it's looking like. We'll turn X-ray off. Yep, and that looks like it's sitting in there fairly well apart from this edge here, so I'm just going to do that in my perspective mode. Select these bottom ones, and we're just going to go ahead and move it down like so, so it sits in there perfectly. And we're also going to do that up here if I don't. Well, no, we're going to leave that as it is, so it looks a bit better. And then we're going to just move it down a tad, and we'll probably even move it that way a tad. So it just depends on your preference, how deep you want this cut in, and so on. And we have Wally's eyebrows created, and you can even mess around with this if I just press insert on my keyboard and move this point in here, just roughly in there, press insert again, and then if I rotate now, we got Wally's eyebrows working. We got our indentation looking all nice and clean, and Wally's eyebrows are completed. So I'll see you guys in the next part.